In this video, we will be discussing monopolies, practicing uniform pricing, and how they profit maximize. So we have a problem here, and they ask us to find the maximum profit, the producer's surplus, and the learner's index. And they give us a quantity demanded function of 20 minus p, and a total cost function of 3 plus 1.5q plus 0.5q squared. So one thing to note about monopolies that is different from perfectly competitive markets is that the firm's quantity equals the market's quantity. So big Q equals little q in a monopoly. So we could use either one and they would represent the same thing. Now in order to profit maximize, we would use the rule of marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So we need to find both marginal revenue and marginal cost in order to find our profit maximizing quantity, our price, and then lastly our profit. So first off, let's find the marginal cost, and that is the derivative of the total cost function with respect to Q. And that derivative is 1.5 plus Q. So now we have our marginal cost. Next up, we want to find our marginal revenue, but in order to do that, we need to take our quantity demanded function of QD equals 20 minus P and solve for the price. So we would add price to both sides and subtract quantity demanded to both sides. And that gives us a price function of 20 minus quantity demanded. So now that we have our price function, we can now find our total revenue, which is price times quantity. So it would be quantity times our price function of 20 minus Q, which also represents our quantity demanded, and thus, by distributing, our total revenue is 20Q minus Q squared. Next, we can find our marginal revenue, which is the derivative of the total revenue function with respect to Q, and our derivative is 20 minus 2Q. So now that we know both our marginal revenue and our marginal cost, we can follow the profit maximization rule of marginal revenue equals marginal cost, and we can set those two equal to each other. So we have 20 minus 2Q equals 1.5 plus Q. And if we were to add 2Q to both sides, and then subtract 1.5 from both sides, we would get 3Q equals 18.5. And if we were to divide both sides by 3, we would get a profit maximizing quantity of 6.17. So in order to achieve our maximum profit, we would produce 6.17 units of whatever good we are producing. Next up, we want to find our price. In this scenario, we're considered the price maker, so we would set our price at where we would think that we would make the most money, and that is where we meet demand. So we would plug our price into that demand function we were given at the beginning of this problem. So we have price equals 20 minus 6.17, and then we find our price equals 13.83. So we're charging $13.83 for this good, and this will help us achieve our maximum profit. Next, we shall find our profit, and we will use the profit formula of profit, denoted by pi, equals price times quantity minus total cost. And so if we plug in what we know, the profit equals the price of 13.83 times the quantity of 6.17 minus the total cost of 3 plus 1.5 times the quantity of 6.17 plus 0.5 of 6.17 squared. And by plugging this all into a calculator, we get a final profit of 54.02. So we ultimately made $54.02, and this is the maximum profit we can achieve given our cost function and demand function. Next, we want to find the producer surplus. And if we recall, the formula for producer surplus is profit plus fixed cost. And if we were to look back at our total cost function, it was 3 plus 1.5q plus 0.5q squared. And we notice that 3 does not have any q's next to it, so that is our fixed cost. And we would add that to our profit of 54.02. So we would have 54.02 plus 3, and so our producer surplus is 57.02. Next up, we want to find our learner's index, and the formula for that is price minus the marginal cost, and that quantity is all over the price. And if we were to plug in what we know the price is 13.83, and it would be subtracted by the marginal cost of 1.5 minus the quantity of 6.17, and that is all over 13.83. And if we were to plug that all into a calculator, we would get a learner's index of 0.45. Since learner's index is on a scale from 0 to 1, with 0 being no market power and 1 being absolute market power, this firm falls around the midpoint, a little below it, so it is safe to assume that they have market power, but their prices are still dependent on demand. So demand is what drives this market for this good. So they have market power, but they don't have complete market power and still have to adhere to consumer demand in order to make a profit. They cannot choose whatever price they feel like and expect to make a profit. That will conclude this video on uniform pricing in monopolies.